Today on Scraping the Bottom, we're checking out Saw the video game.
Hello, Detective Tapp. I want to play a game.
Captured by Jigsaw, Detective David Tapp awakens in a decrepit abandoned asylum. Obsessed with catching his longtime nemesis, Tapp's mission has consumed him while it ruined his family and career. Now Tapp must play a deadly game, and in order to do so, he must survive the lethal puzzles that have been put in place for him. Can he survive and find the Jigsaw killer? You've watched the movies, now experience the game.
Developed by Zombie Studios and published by Konami, Saw was released October 22, 2009 for PC, PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360. Despite coming out between the 5th and 6th movies, the game takes place directly after the first. A sequel called Flesh and Blood was released just about a year later in October 2010. Series creators James Wan and Lee Winnell returned to help with the storyline and trap designs, while Tobin Bell reprises his role as Jigsaw. You play as Detective David Tapp, who was portrayed by Danny Glover in the first movie. Glover didn't come back for the game tie-in, so the character doesn't look or sound like him, but I assure you, this is our old buddy Detective Tapp. Oh wait, did you think he died in the movie? Since he had a flower vase smashed over his head, got shot, and had his throat slit? What is this, amateur hour? Nope, shockingly he's still alive, and unfortunately for him, Jigsaw put a key inside of him that everyone at the asylum needs to get out of their own traps. You'll be making your way through the abandoned Whitehurst Insane Asylum. Jigsaw has turned the House of Horrors into an even deadlier booby-trapped one. There's plenty of lore to find and read, from newspaper clippings, patient files, and tape recorders. They not only expand the lore of the Saw series, but they also shed some light on what Whitehurst was like in its heyday, involving patient abuse and MKUltra experiments. Random doors and areas on the floor are just waiting to blow you to bits. Floor traps can be disarmed and rearmed for your own use. I'm serious when I say that this place is booby-trapped to hell and back, and if you're not paying attention, you're going to walk into them over and over and over again. Whitehurst has been officially abandoned by its staff, but thanks to Jigsaw, it's still a dynamic living place. You'll come across victims who are currently in their own personal traps, ones who have already died in theirs, others who are hunting you for the key to their freedom, and the Pigmask recruits who are running around making sure things are going as planned. The game progresses through 7 cases. Amanda Young, the first to survive one of Jigsaw's traps and eventually becomes one of his apprentices. Jennings Foster, an old police colleague of Tapp's. Melissa Singh, the wife of deceased Detective Stephen Singh. Oswald McGillicuddy, an investigative journalist who reported on Jigsaw but was ignored by Tapp. Obi Tate, a guy who obsessively wanted to be tested by Jigsaw, gets his wish multiple times and eventually dies in the house furnace during Saw 2. Jeff Ridenour, who was saved from being killed in a drill trap by Singh and Tapp in the first movie, but has since been abducted a second time due to still being suicidal afterwards. And finally, David Tapp gets the chance to overcome his own obsession. Find the 6 victims and free them from their traps to conclude their stories before ending the game by choosing between Tapp's freedom or the truth. There are at least 15 different weapons to find and use around the asylum, from pipes to baseball bats to shovels to scalpels. You can even fight using a mannequin arm or a table leg. Plenty are lying around too, so you should always be able to find one, but you also have the choice to just fight with your fists. About halfway through the game, you'll start coming across some of Jigsaw's work tables. They let you build 3 types of mines when you find their schematics: explosive, stun, and gas. It's just a simple crafting system that requires 2 items that can be found around the asylum, such as shotgun shells, fuses, and ammonia. You can carry one of each mine and you can set them anywhere you want, but watch out because when they go off, they can kill you just as easily as they kill your enemy. 3 types of light sources are available and each have their own pros and cons. The lighter is good for closer illumination but can't be used for very long before it needs to cool down. It will also make flammable barrels explode if you get too close to them. The camera has the longest reach but is a really quick flash, slow to reload, and disorienting. The flashlight has medium reach but is easy to miss things that are up close. You can make it through the game with any of them, but the camera is pretty much useless in my opinion. Pick the lighter or the flashlight and you'll be fine. Healing comes in 2 forms, immediate and stored. Up to 4 syringes can be stored on your person for future use, however bandages, water, and sewing kits need to be used when you find them. The asylum has many locked doors in it. Some can have their locks picked, but others can't be opened except from the opposite side. The doors that can be picked will have some bonus things in them like a weapon or a work table. As you walk around some parts, you'll eventually find your way back through a door that was locked from the other side, creating a shortcut. The puzzles get more and more complex as you progress. They also come in multiple varieties. Some will put you into a trap situation that you have to escape, like the reverse bear trap or having to cut open the correct body to find a key to the door. Next are gas pipe puzzles, which have different difficulties but never become too overwhelming. And then there's the fuse box puzzles. They start as a 3x3 grid, then move to a 5x5, and they eventually reach their final form as a 7x7. The 7x7 is easily the hardest puzzle style in the game, especially when you have to solve multiple of them with a timer ticking down, a gas leak slowly poisoning you, or someone trying to kill you, or all three at once. There are 47 trophies, and with the way they're laid out, you'll be able to platinum Saw in 1 or 2 playthroughs. They make good use of game's mechanics, and there's no insane grind. Keep an eye out for different weapons because each one has a trophy for killing with it. Multiple difficulty levels and endings, branching paths, and trying to find all the weapons should be more than enough to keep you engaged. So, is Saw the video game good? Personally, I love this game, and I had a blast playing it. I'm also a fan of the movie series, and I love getting lost in a good horror game. One thing that impressed me multiple times is the attention to detail. If you walk through broken glass, you'll start leaving behind bloody footprints. Even if you kill someone who needs your key to their trap, their timer continues to count down and you can watch the trap actually go off. You get a look into Detective Singh's wife and son's life after his death as well. He was wearing a wedding ring in the movie, so it shouldn't be surprising that he has a family who had to cope with his death. I have to commend the sound design in Saw. Along with the setting, story, and lore, it really helps tie this game together. There were multiple times when I was making my way through the asylum and I stopped to just listen to how great everything sounded. I don't really have many issues with Saw because at no point is it trying to be anything that it isn't, and I appreciate that. Not being able to use the D-pad for puzzles was clunky and lame. The combat can be pretty janky with a weapon, but if you hate it that much, just get your trophy for the kill and then punch your way through the rest. And there are moments when I was progressing through the game, opened up an electrical box to find another 7x7 grid, and decided to just take a break for a bit. I constantly kept forgetting about floor traps and died to them dozens of times throughout my playthrough. Luckily the game autosaves constantly, so even if you die to a trap because you weren't paying complete attention for a split second, you won't be set back very far. If the regular autosaving wasn't here, you died from yet another floor trap in a dark room, and then get the laugh game over screen for the 20th time, I think it would be enough for people to rage quit and never come back. Saw doesn't dethrone my personal top 3 horror games of Manhunt, Resident Evil 7, and Fatal Frame 2, but I would gladly play through it again. Next episode will be on Dexter the Game. Stay nerdy. I'm out.
Getting your nerd on, getting your nerd on, getting your nerd on.
I got a raging nerd on.